अभी लग रहा है कि साहब एटीएम का लिमिट बढ़ा है थोड़ा सा, अदरवाइज मुझे लगा वो 4000 वाला ही चल रहा है. So thank you very much for being here. I think it is very difficult to get people to come to listen to seminars which deal with finance and investments. And it has been my experience कि जिस दिन फाइनेंस के सेमिनार में बैठने को सीट नहीं बचेगा, बाजार में पैसा बनना भी बंद हो जाएगा. So that's been our learning. I think I'm going to speak on something on which I have not really spoken so far. I normally talk about markets and how to create wealth. Yeah, thank you. Today I'll speak just about two things. One, how mutual funds are changing the financial landscape, and in a sense, because most of the business in mutual fund anyways is happening in a cashless manner, not less cash but cashless manner, and how they are empowering a common person to create wealth for himself and his family. I'll just spend a minute about what I've written in this book. After working for almost 19 years in mutual fund industry, I thought of writing a book which is very, very simple, which has no cliches, which has no technical jargon, and which is written actually in a story format. So generally the books on finance, you will find they become very technical and they become very, very boring. So what I've tried to do here is, it's a very simple story. The story keeps on evolving, and with that we get to learn about not only stock markets or mutual fund investing, but something bit about life also. Basically three things I have talked about here. One, that our life and our investing is not, these are not different things. What you need to do in life to succeed, you also need to implement that in stock markets. There is no shortcut in life, there is no shortcut in stock market. The shortcut in stock market is money making. People want to make money. To make money, you need not come to stock markets. I would rather be a chai wala or a pan wala or a samosa seller. I'll still make money. And the problem with making money is, you'll make money, you'll lose money. So what I've written is, don't make money, create wealth, because wealth once created is not very easy to destroy. That's number one. Number two, as I told you, is that our investing and our life is not different. And third thing which I have written in this book is that investing actually is very, very simple. We tend to complicate it. So with this, let me tell you what we are going to talk about today. My presentation is actually not about mutual funds, a cashless revolution, but it is about Dharma, Karma and Moksha. Human life is all about these three things. Our scriptures say this, our ancient scriptures, our forefathers would tell you that, boss, this is, thank you very much. See, these are typically three primary things that we do with our money. One is we save our money, we invest our money, and third is we spend our money. How do we typically save our money? We all know our father, mother, दादाजी, चाचा जी, everyone has told कि बॉस बैंक में पैसा रखो और टेंशन नहीं लेने का है. कौन से बैंक में पैसा रखना है? वो सरकारी बैंक है, उसमें ज़्यादा फायदा है. Without worrying about the fact, some of these banks would have done seva of Mr. Malaya also. Banking is probably the safest haven which comes to our mind. किसी से भी आप पूछेंगे यार सेविंग करना है तो बोलो बॉस बैंक में डाल दो, पोस्ट ऑफिस में डाल दो. Some wiser people will even tell you बॉस LIC कर दो, सेविंग इन्वेस्टमेंट सब हो जाएगा. If you look at Indian financial savings, about 90% of the country is saving this way. 60 लोगों का 60% savings are in bank deposit and fixed deposits. 17% people are so relaxed, they say बॉस LIC कर दिया, इंश्योरेंस कर दिया, मेरा टेंशन खत्म हो गया. And there are about 12% of our financial savings which are lying in public provident fund or pension funds. Equity savings are just about 3%. So a notion of savings is actually based on two things. One is safety of our money. So nationalized bank के हमको मालूम है, मोदी जी बैठे हैं, सरकार बैठी है, बस बैंक की तरफ नहीं जाने वाला है. Second is convenience, कि मेरा बैंक है, जब मुझको पैसा निकालना है, रात को 12 बजे पैसा निकालना है, मैं ATM में जाऊंगा, बस पैसा निकाल लूंगा. The money is available instantly to me. But the problem with saving money in a traditional way, that too in a fixed deposit or a bank deposit, is twofold, that we are paying a very, very huge price of this. We are like this bucket. So one, the interest income is going inside, but there is a leakage on the taxes, and then there is a leakage of inflation. So the traditional saving which we have been taught, or which 70-80% of the country is doing, is suffering from this issue. Mathematically, if I put together, I think this rate of 9% is bit benign, I would say. Today a banker would give you 7.5%. On this you will pay 2% tax, 2.5% tax, and inflation, वो सरकार का नंबर कुछ भी बोले साहब, वो 4.5-5% का इन्फ्लेशन लॉन्ग टर्म हमारे यहाँ है. After accounting for inflation and interest, taxes which you pay on interest income, you are actually left with only 1%. This is what saving and investing in ट्रेडिशनल फिक्स्ड इनकम एवेन्यूज, जहाँ से हमको बंधा हुआ ब्याज आता है, वेयर वी से कि भाई मेरा पैसा सेफ है, आई विल गेट 8%, 9%. दैट इज द चैलेंज विच मोस्ट ऑफ आवर फाइनेंशियल सेविंग्स आर facing. Now here comes the new phase. Today you can actually say bye bye to your traditional banking, unless and until you are talking about taking a loan from the bank. Mutual funds today can actually perform most of the functions which your bank is doing for you, at least on the savings and investment front. So you can actually say goodbye to your this thing. I'll just discuss two cases with you. So I call mutual funds the new age bank. In my household, I have told my daughters also कि भाई बैंक में पैसा रखना पाप है, from my investment perspective. Yes, I respect government, I respect nationalized and private sector banks. So we'll keep something there. But practically today, you need not keep anything in your saving bank accounts. Mutual funds are providing you such an excellent platform that your money is actually instantly available to you. And most of the transactions are now, most of the mutual funds have their own apps. They are, you can deal through internet, you can trade through internet. So this is the traditional way. We talk about Mr. A who gets his salary, वो salary bank में जाता है, then he expends this money, he spends this money. So what typically happens is either his money is lying in a saving bank account or a current account. If it's a CA, which we call current account, the interest paid to him is 0. If it is SA, then you are somewhere between 3 to 6%. And what is actually bank doing with this money? Bank is lending this money at rates which are prevalent in the market, depending on the credit rating of this thing. So basically, banks or other custodians of the money, where they make money from is the float, which belongs to actually that investor who's kept his money in the bank. So it is my money, bank is paying me say 3%, 4%, जिस पे मेरे को टैक्स भी भरना है, मेरे को इन्फ्लेशन का भी चिंता है, and bank is actually making a margin on the float by lending it at 9%, 11%, 12%, whatever rates could be. Say typically home loan rate today is 9.5%. There is another investor which I call Mr. B. What he's done is created another interface between his salary and his bank. So what he's done is between his salary, he has created a liquid fund account. So his salary, instead of going into bank, goes into a liquid fund. And from liquid fund, whenever he needs money, it will move to his bank and then to his utilities. He can pay, because mutual funds today cannot write a third party check. So his money from liquid fund will move to his bank, and from bank it will move to the utilities or whatever usage he has for that money. So what he is doing today is, and today there are liquid funds which are offering you a few facilities. One, there is a facility that mutual fund will actually issue you a debit card, and that debit card you can use globally anywhere. So you can travel with your debit card up to 50% of your money which you've invested. Suppose you've invested 10 lakh rupees in a liquid fund, 5 लाख रुपए तक आप कभी भी स्वाइप करके किधर भी यूज करना है आप कर लीजिए. So this facility came into being about a couple of years back. A lot of us are not aware about this. Second facility which has just come into being about 6 months back, which we call Insta Cash. You have money lying in liquid fund, you redeem your money, and within 30 minutes, up to a certain limit, that one of the funds that I deal with, उसमें क्या है 2 लाख रुपए तक आपको चाहिए, you just redeem within 30 minutes, वो 2 लाख रुपए आपका बैंक अकाउंट में आ जाएगा, any amount up to 2 lakh rupees. Then whatever you want to do with that money, So typically today I need not keep money in my wallets, in my Ola money, in my Uber money. I can hire a Uber, sit in my cab, redeem from my liquid fund. Within 2 minutes from my bank, I will shift it to Uber and my job is done. So what we are doing is, now this gentleman needs bank only to route his transactions and nothing else. हाँ लोन लेना है तो जाइए बैंक के पास ले लीजिए साहब 7-8% में लोन मिलेगा अभी. So what he's actually done is his savings are becoming more efficient because he's earning more money than a saving bank interest or a current account interest. Second, his savings are now earning market related return. When I am investing in any other instrument or when I am giving my money to somebody who is actually paying me an interest, I am not getting market related returns. So mutual funds have come to my rescue. They are actually bunch of experts whom you can outsource for a very, very simple thing. A smart investor told me something. I was in Gujarat. He said, साहब ये म्यूचुअल फंड से बढ़िया कुछ नहीं. मैं बोला क्यों? बोला साहब कोट पहन के पूरा साल रिसर्च करते हैं, अपन से फीस कितना देते हैं, लिक्विड फंड में आधा टका भी फीस नहीं लेते. तो आई हैव हायर्ड सो मेनी म्यूचुअल फंड्स, वो मेरा नौकरी करते हैं बॉस, मैं टेंशन से अपना टेंशन फ्री हो गया, मैं अपना काम करता हूँ. So your savings are earning, becoming more efficient. They are earning market-related returns, and there is a instant liquidity. So typically, the work which the bank was doing for you is being done by a mutual fund today. Most of the transactions are happening online, and the second leg of this trinity, saving, spending, and investing, is investing. Investing I cannot cover in, I have only say 10 or 12 minutes more to speak. Investing cannot be covered in 10 or 12 minutes. I think mutual funds have given us so much option of investing in all the asset classes side. Typically we invest in 4 classes: gold, real estate, debt and equity, and mutual funds have lot of options there in terms of starting from the lowest risk fund. You will have liquid cash, you will have debt, then you will have hybrid funds, and then you will have equity funds. Within those you will have small cap, large cap, mid cap, SIP, STP. Most of us are aware about that. I will just speak about one facility which I am very passionate about, is systematic investment plan. Navneet also touched upon that. How SIP is changing the investment landscape and how actually it is empowering a retail investor or a high net worth individual to create wealth for himself. I think that is the biggest miracle which mutual fund industry has done, is to create SIP. And because if you look at all these 4 asset classes, the trickiest asset is to invest into equity. Although I think investing in debt is also very tricky, because if you don't understand the movements of interest rates and macro, it could be very, very tricky. But traditionally we have been investing into fixed income. So we think yeah, debt अपने को समझता है, real estate, gold हर आदमी को समझता है, because real estate, gold में कुछ करना नहीं है, सिर्फ खरीदना है, बेचते तो है ही नहीं. गोल्ड कभी नहीं बिकता है साहब हमारी फैमिलीज में, रियल एस्टेट कभी नहीं बिकता है. Equity has been traditionally a very, very tricky asset, and that's where I think SIP does a beautiful job. How many of you would be doing your SIPs? Can you please just raise your hands? Okay, great. I think most of us know about SIP. SIP has typically 4 benefits, and I do this presentation almost twice a day. After this I have to rush to Mulund and do a similar presentation on wealth creation and SIPs. See, the benefits of SIP actually go far beyond the financial benefits that we have known. So SIP gives you financial benefits. It also gives you tactical benefits which are related to the technique of investing. And then I further delved into exploring other benefits of SIP, because I have been a SIP investor for almost last 16 or 17 years. My sense is SIP also gives you psychological and spiritual benefits. So first is the tactical benefit related to the technique of investing. You are putting your money every month. So money is going into say markets. Markets are volatile and we tend to get an average, which we call rupee cost averaging. So today there is a fund, mutual fund in the market which is trading at say about 900 rupees. It's been there for almost 21 years now. If somebody did a SIP in that scheme, every month he put some money. Today his average cost of acquisition of 1 unit is actually below 50 rupees. That means you will not make losses at least in this life. 900 रुपए वाला म्यूचुअल फंड साहब 50 रुपए ट्रेड हो जाए, हिंदुस्तान का इकोनॉमी और मार्केट इतना खराब नहीं है अभी. Unless and until tomorrow everyone wakes up and says कि भाई the next prime minister has to be from Aam Aadmi party, I don't see the possibility of 900 becoming 40. That's very, very clear, number one. The second benefit is the financial benefit. How SIP has created wealth for us. I have taken schemes from 3 mutual funds. I have not put their names because the idea is not to promote any particular mutual fund here. Last 21 years, 5,000 रुपया हर महीना आपने इन 3 schemes में लगाया होता. One is a mid cap fund, second is a large cap fund, and third is a balance fund. Most of these funds have, all of these funds have completed now 20 years. The mid cap fund has given a IRR of almost 24%. Large cap has given a return of around 20%, and similarly balance fund has also returned the same. An investment of 37.8 lakh rupees over this time period has grown to almost 6.25 crores. Forget about putting 5,000 rupees. You just put 1,000 rupees per month in these 3 schemes. So your investment of say around 5-ish lakhs would become almost 1.5 crores. This is what I call wealth creation. You tell a housewife, madam ये 1,000 रुपया करके डालना है, 25 साल तक डालते रहिए, मर्सिडीज तो आप खरीद के दे देंगी साहब को बिना किस्तों के. And that's where I think that element of empowerment is coming into SIPs. The third benefit I spoke about is psychological benefit. Let me ask you one question, very simple question. All of us see movies, sir. बॉम्बे में रहते हैं, सभी पिक्चर देखते होंगे. हमारी फिल्मों में एक हीरो है सनी देओल. वो कितने लोगों को पसंद है? प्लीज हाथ खड़ा करें. 1 2 3 4 5. I think we are about 100 people here. About 6 people like Sunny Deol. And how many of us like Sunny Leon? Okay. Only one madam has raised hand. She has raised. Very good. You are bold. You are not married, right? Thank you very much. Why do we like Sunny Deol? Why do we like Sunny Deol? Why do we like filmy heroes? Why do we like heroes? You ask a third grader, बेटा स्पाइडरमैन पसंद है? बोलता है सब पसंद है. पापा से ज्यादा तो स्पाइडरमैन पसंद है, बैटमैन पसंद है. Why do we like heroes? Typical. चलिए सनी देओल क्यों पसंद है सर? Actions and stunts. And what about his attitude? Personality. Our heroes have one quality. See, I have a friend who stays in Chennai, and he's a big fan of Rajnikant. He carries a blade in his pocket. So one day I asked him, बस ये blade का को रखता है बस? तो तुम म्यूचुअल फंड सेल्स में यार कोई पिक पॉकेट थोड़े ना. बोले सर मैं रजनीकांत का फैन हूँ. So I said, why do you keep the blade in your pocket? He said, सर मेरा जीवन में एक ही इच्छा है कि मुझको बोनस मिले नहीं मिले, ESOPs मिले नहीं मिले, I want somebody to fight with me, and वो फाइट ऐसा इंटेंस हो जाए कि he should be sort of driven to a point where he actually takes out a gun and fires at me. That time I'll take this blade out and try to cut that bullet in 2 parts. And I said, boss, उसके पहले life insurance please ले लेना. Our heroes are fearless, and this is one quality of our heroes which we like. Irrespective of the country we stay, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of our age. वो सेकेंड क्लास थर्ड क्लास के बच्चे को भी स्पाइडरमैन पसंद है, वो 90-year-old मैन को भी स्पाइडरमैन अच्छा लगता है, बिकॉज दे आर फियरलेस. व्हेन वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन इक्विटी, द बिगेस्ट चैलेंज इज फियर, द फियर ऑफ लॉस. When you're doing your SIP, you are actually taking small steps every month, and slowly you are eliminating the element of fear. Somebody wrote an article last week in newspaper, Economic Times. He made a beautiful point. He said SIP is not mathematics, it's pure psychology. It is actually making you fearless. It is turning you into a financial Sunny Deol. Once you spend 10-15 years in SIP, sir, आपको डर नहीं लगेगा. 50 साल उसको नहीं हाथ लगाओगे. 50 साल आप बैठ गए, 25 साल बैठ गए, आपका वेल्थ क्रिएशन हो गया. एंड द फाइनल बेनिफिट ऑफ SIP इज स्पिरिचुअल बेनिफिट. कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भु माते संगस्त विकर्मणि. कि डू योर कर्मा, फॉरगेट अबाउट द फ्रूट्स. आप SIP क्यों करते हो सर? बच्चे की एजुकेशन है, मैरिज है, फैमिली के लिए बड़ा घर खरीदना है, बड़ी गाड़ी खरीदनी है. द फल बिलोंग्स टू फैमिली, इसलिए आप रोज रोज नहीं देखते हो. आप बोलते हो बॉस ये बच्चे का पैसा है, मैं जोड़ता रहूंगा. सो यू आर डूइंग योर कर्मा and you are not looking at the phal on daily basis. You're exactly doing what Sri Krishna told Arjun to do. Another thing which SIP teaches you, because you are investing every month, it teaches you equanimity of the mind. Sukhe dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jaya tato yuddhai yujyasva naivam papam avapyasasi. Ke hey Arjun, when you are engaging in this battle for the sake of fighting the battle, not for sukh dukh, not for labh and hani, then nobody is going to put the burden of sins on your head and you will be a true karma yogi. When you're doing SIP, सर वो अरविंद केजरीवाल ने कुछ बोला, बाजार गिर गया, आपका SIP लग गया, ब्रेक्सिट हुआ, SIP कर दिया, लग गया, डोनाल्ड ट्रंप आए, आपने SIP किया, लग गया. You are actually keeping equanimity of mind. So by using this simple tool, actually you are acquiring the qualities of some of the best investors who've been known in the equity world. I personally feel it's a very, very powerful tool. Third element is spending. Of course, now cashless and cashback, they've become very, very fashionable words. Unfortunately, on the spending side, mutual fund can't do much for you. But then I think both these cashless and cashback are the buzzwords to boost consumption. They only prompt you to spend. बस अगर मैं पिक्चर का टिकट 100 रुपए का इसके थ्रू खरीदूंगा, मुझको कैशबैक मिलेगा. तो कैशबैक इज द कैरेट विच इज ऑलवेज डैंगलिंग अहेड ऑफ अस. टू गेट दैट कैशबैक आई हैव टू स्पेंड more and more, and you will enjoy this spending more and more only when you are using your money very, very efficiently. So mutual funds on spending part will not do much for you, and this is where I come to that final slide of mine, which is dharma, karma and moksha. What is our dharma? To save our hard earned money, to save it very, very judicially is the dharma of every karta of the family or the bread earner. Second, what I call karma is good investing habits. Good investing habits are like reading of that Hanuman Chalisa every Tuesday, or going to masjid or going to church every Sunday. So first, our dharma is to save. That's where I think mutual funds are making our life a lot simpler. Second, karma, if you study the options which mutual funds have given us, actually they turn you into a very, very astute investor, and you need not do much on your own. Even if you have patience and some amount of common sense, your job is done. Rest of the work is done by the poor fund manager. I do not know any fund manager, sir, जो दिन में बेचारा 10 घंटे पढ़ाई नहीं करता है. They are always loaded with balance sheets. वो गाड़ी में भी बैठेगा तो बच्चे का मैथमेटिक्स का बुक रहेगा और उसके बीच में एक बैलेंस शीट रहेगा, because he says ये पढ़ना ही. Our mutual funds are doing a great job. So once you have achieved this dharma and karma, only then the moksha waits. Moksha is spending what you have earned and enjoying the fruits of this thing. And as was told to you in the beginning of the presentation, that I am a poet also. And poet, that too, I say I am an incorrigible poet. The advantage or disadvantage of listening to a poet, you will know in a couple of minutes. I will just end my message with this poem. Actually, I wrote this poem when this government assumed the Prime Minister's office, or they came in power. In our country, I think we are a country of a billion and more who are continuously dreaming, who are aspiring, and my sense is in a country, अगर कोई चाय वाला प्रधानमंत्री बन सकता है, उस देश में संभावनाओं की कमी नहीं है. Possibilities are endless. If there is any dearth of possibilities, it is there in my mind, and this poem actually reflects upon the attitude with which we lead our life. कि पाँव छोटे ही सही मंजिल पे पहुंचाना तो है, और कश्ती कागज की सही तूफान से टकराना तो है. Irrespective of my resources, I tell myself to dream big. I tell my kids कि बस nothing is out of reach. और वक्त का प्याला भरा है फिर जहर से दोस्तों, वक्त का प्याला भरा है फिर जहर से दोस्तों, बन के शिव एक दिन हमें गंगा को ले आना तो है. Everyone wants to do something very, very noteworthy, very, very worthwhile before he leaves this world. और एक घरौंदे ने दिखाया हमें साहिलों का रास्ता, नई सुबह की माह में सूरज को फिर आना तो है. In life and in investment, these ups and downs will continue. The trick is not to have as many ups or as less downs as possible. The trick is how to balance these two. So sometimes हम तूफान में फंसे हैं, साहब लगता है कि अब तो जिंदगी जाएगी. And then when you look at the shore, you see a small sand castle is also fighting with the waves. It's not that one wave will come and the whole amount of sand grains will go into the sea. It is only after 8 or 10 attempts that the last grain will walk to the sea. And finally, चांद चाहे डर के मारे रहे बादलों की ओट में, इस अंधेरी राह को एक भोर तक जाना तो है. In investments, you will see very long period of euphoria, sometimes very long period of confusion, and sometimes very long periods of depression also. और हम परेशान हो जाते हैं, यार ये बाजार चलेगा ही नहीं. And we go and press that redemption button, and next day we realize that the markets have started going up. So my sense is, and I've been in these markets for a fairly long time period, as Navneet also said, nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. If we keep our asset allocations right, if we choose our funds and investment advisors wisely, it is very much possible to create very serious wealth for ourselves and our families, and do it very simply. My alarm has gone off. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your valuable time. And the next person who's going to speak is actually a fund manager, so all the questions you can ask to her.